Movies about gambling have an inherent drama because by definition they are about risk. It's not fun to watch someone be prudent and cautious, but to see someone constantly putting his well-being on the line in desperate, irrational hope for that one big score. Well, gamblers in gambling movies are in many ways just like the veteran cops who takes one last case before retirement. They usually don't end up with a calm, home life upstate counting their winnings. We tried to make sure we emphasize the gambling over the movie. Few would argue that Rounders is better than Casino, but Casino is less about gambling and more about the world in which that gambling takes place. Rounders is definitely about the gambling. We veered more toward movies about the gambling. Luckily, a whole lot of them happen to be great movies all on their own. Welcome to Cinematic. Here we present to you the 25 best movies about gambling. Before we start with this gambling masterpiece, I request you to subscribe to my channel, like and share this video, and stay tuned with Cinematic. On number 25, Vegas Vacation in 1997.
Eddie, I've gambled away more money than you'll ever understand.
Try me.
$22,600.
Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh!
Alright, so we know this isn't a very good movie. It's probably the worst vacation movie, with the possible exception of that terrible reboot with the Ed Elms. But you'll have to just indulge us on this one, because it has perhaps the single funniest, dumbest casino joke of all time. On number 24, Lucky You in 2007.
Never touch another player's cards?
Nothing. You raised me with nothing?
Sometimes nothing's enough.
Made in the heat of the now mercifully cooled World Series of Poker craze, the late Curtis Hanson put an immediate halt to his terrific LA Confidential, Wonder Boys, 8 Mile, In Her Shoes Run with this mostly hackneyed story of a superstar poker player Eric Bana with a complicated relationship with his even bigger superstar poker player father Robert Duvall. On number 23, 21 in 2008.
Leave the bag.
No. I need this money. You have no idea what I went through to get
I know,
this.
kid, but you're gonna figure out how to get everything you want in this life. Because you're smart.
Based on the true story of the MIT blackjack team that beat the house for nearly a decade, 21 turns an interesting math and business story into a sort of dumb heist movie featuring a lot of young, handsome actors trying to pull one over on Kevin Spacey. On number 22, Let It Ride in 1989. An odd little comedy about a perpetual loser gambling addict who for one day hits on every single bet at the horse races.
Are you sure you know what you're doing? I mean, of sound mind and all that?
I'm not asking for a will. I'm asking for 48 $50 win tickets on the 3-horse in the 7th race.
So you won 48 $50 win tickets on the 3-horse in the 7th race?
That's right.
This just inspires him to push harder and keep it going, and while this might turn out to be a disaster in a movie like, say, Uncut Gems, here it's just a wacky 80s comedy. On number 21, Maverick in 1994.
What's your occupation?
I'm a gunfighter.
Well, I have to assume, since you're still alive and playing cards with us here, that you're good at it.
The film still has its pleasures, not least of which is Gibson's pal Jodie Foster, who has a blast playing the sort of damsel in distress female sidekick role she'd otherwise spend most of her career avoiding. It's a gas to watch her so giddy. On number 20, The Cooler in 2003.
Where were you gonna go, Bernie? Where the fuck are you gonna go that's better than here? I got you covered in this town. People know you work for me. That's currency in your pocket. That's fucking respect when you walk the floor. Where are you gonna get that anyplace else?
The Cooler starts off as a sad, funny character study of a recovering gambling addict who's still in massive debt to Alec Baldwin's tough guy casino boss. He's working off what he owes by being the guy's go-to cooler, but the love of a good woman might just change his luck. On number 19, Ocean's 11 in 2001.
Guys, what's the first lesson in poker?
Never bet on the,
No, leave emotion at the door.
That's right, Topher. Today's lesson, how to draw out the bluff. That much money this early in the game, I'm saying he's holding nothing better than a pair of face cards.
Often, movie characters who gamble are presented as sobering cautionary tales. From the early scene where George Clooney and Brad Pitt's early cool character squares off at the card table, it's clear that this Ocean's 11 will exude the sleek, cocky spirit of modern Vegas, which is all upscale adult pleasures and very little actual degenerate behavior. On number 18, Molly's Game in 2017.
You didn't have pocket kings?
I didn't have any kings, except the one in the middle.
You had 2 pair?
I had 1 pair. The 9s in the middle.
Molly's Game is based on the memoir of Molly Bloom, a former champion skier who shifts careers after a terrible accident, turning her attention to the world of underground poker. This thriller is far too proud of its own cleverness, a chronic Sorkin shortcoming, but you feel Molly's rush and you meet some truly heartbreaking characters, including Bill Camp's hopeless gambler. It's horrifying to watch him drown in slow motion. On number 17, Casino in 1995.
I was so good that whenever I bet, I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country. I'm serious. I had it down so cold that I was given paradise on earth. I was given one of the biggest casinos in Las Vegas to run, the Tangiers.
Want to understand the inner workings of Vegas gambling? Martin Scorsese's intricate drama is for you, chronicling the Sin City's evolution from seedy to sanitized over the span of several years. As he did previously with Goodfellas, Scorsese understands how American enterprise works in the criminal underworld, and also how individuals get trampled on along the way. On number 16, The Hustler in 1961.
I mean, that ever happened to you? And all of a sudden you feel like you can't miss? Because I dreamed about this game, fat man. I dreamed about this game every night on the road.
When you consider the parameters of our gambling movie rankings, we must say The Hustler isn't as good as gambling movie as its sequel, The Color of Money, which you will find later in this video. But it probably is better movie overall. On number 15, Bugsy in 1991.
The way you were staring at me, I thought you were going to ask me for something a little more exciting.
Like what?
Use your imagination.
I'm using it.
Let me know when you're finished.
An origin story of Las Vegas, Bugsy is principally a study of Bugsy Siegel, a gangster who travels to the desert, convinced he's seen the mob's future. Bugsy is less about gambling. Although Siegel surely takes some big chances, then it is about Sin City's messy birth, which proves fascinating, even if the movie's glitzy prestige picture trappings are a bit limiting. On number 14, Atlantic City in 1980.
There are a million clever ways of trying to cheat you. Focus! Concentrate! Concentrate! Concentrate.
Today, the legalization of gambling has become a Hail Mary last-ditch effort for many financially eroding urban areas like Detroit, St. Louis, and others, but Atlantic City did this first. The movie feels both dated and timeless, capturing a specific moment that has the power of folklore. On number 13, 8 Men Out in 1988.
Jackson! Hey, Jackson! You spell cat? I'm Shoeless Joe! Can you spell cat? Hey, mister! Can you spell shit?
John Sayles' historic drama about the Black Sox scandal of 1919, when members of the Chicago White Sox threw the World Series to gamblers, is particularly instructive today, when professional sports have embraced gambling revenues wholeheartedly, ignoring the lessons of the past. On number 12, The Color of Money in 1986. This isn't one of Scorsese's best movies, and as we said earlier, The Hustler is the better overall film, but it's solid and despairing. Like with Scorsese's mobsters, these are people who are magnetic, but not ones you'd want to spend time with in real life. On number 11, The Sting in 1973.
Hello, Henry. It's been a long time, but it's over. Okay, kid, you can go.
All right, I said hands up. Keep them up. Come on, move them back. I'm all right. Come on.
Who says gambling can be really fun? This Best Picture winner exudes pure pleasure. It's just a delight to watch the characters turn the sting into one big electric narrative sport. These are some winners who are easy to root for. On number 10, Owning Mahoney in 2003.
A higher line of credit would be a lot simpler.
Okay, good idea. Keep her sweet, Dan.
Right.
When you strip away all the supposed glamour and glitz of gambling and focus on the crippling, oppressive addiction, you get Owning Mahoney, the true story of a Canadian bank manager, Philip Seymour Hoffman, who stole money from his bank and used it to make a series of increasingly dangerous bets in Atlantic City. On number 9, Rounders in 1998. We say this every time we write about Rounders, but it remains true. It's basically Citizen Kane for gambling addicts and perfectly fine for everybody else. That puts it higher on this list than it would be on almost any other, but it does do an excellent job of capturing the swaggering, dopey masculinity of being a professional poker player. On number 8, Mississippi Grind in 2015.
I have it. I have the money. I literally have the money right here in my hand. I'm looking at it. Oh. Hey, JP? JP?
Mississippi Grind practically reeks of stale cigarettes and half-drunk cans of beer. It's a portrait of non-stop gambling as one sad grind. On number 7, Croupier in 1998.
What aftershave are you using?
Never converse with the punters. Slows things down. Money down. Speed is volume. Volume is profit for the casino. Aim at 40 spins an hour.
Place your bets, please.
Croupier explores the sweaty anxiety and crippling sadness of those who have thrown their lives and money away at the tables. If the plot complications aren't always satisfying, the film's vivid recreation of dingy casino life is utterly intoxicating. On number 6, The Cincinnati Kid in 1965. The movie feels current and taut and relevant. Put it this way, all the bros you know who think Rounders is the best movie ever clearly haven't seen this. On number 5, Try Cheers in 1984. Try Cheers isn't judgmental of these gamblers and cheaters, it just follows them along to their inevitable doom. Not that the trip isn't a wicked, dark blast regardless. On number 4, Hard 8 in 1996. The movie seems to understand Las Vegas and the men you never noticed when you're there on an almost transcendent level. And on number 3, Uncut Gems in 2019. Every time we see the "this is how I win" meme on social media, we can't help but think, that moment in Uncut Gems is really heartbreaking. After seeing the film's tragic finale, you may want to get right back on the ride immediately. Addiction is sort of like that. On number 2, The Gambler in 1974. James Starback, who has since been hit with allegations of all kinds of problematic behavior based on his screenplay on his own gambling addiction. But what's great about The Gambler, the 1974 James Caan version obviously, and not the 2014 Mark Wahlberg one, is that the title character is less obsessed with gambling than he is with danger, even self-destruction. On number 1, California Split in 1974. Of course, there's a whole lot of gambling, which Altman films with casual mastery, letting us eavesdrop on the weird characters and dangerous oddballs who populate that world. California Split remains perhaps the director's most underrated classic, and its gut-punch ending is so muted yet so perfect. Now, take the gamble on subscribing to us, because we will always make you rich with best recommendations and suggestions of movies and shows. Also, here's an insider tip. Don't miss out on our social accounts mentioned below in the description.